I'm live. Haha, you have a notification saying that I'm live. Yay! Should have actually tried my stool to see if it was going to work out for me, but I guess we're going to go with it now. Hello, epic people. Do we have any epic people yet? Oh, there's like 2 more markers that I need to grab. Do we have any epic people yet?
I'm not actually in there yet.
Oh. Well, hello, epic people. Who's ready to color a dress? I have Cindy here. Hi, Cindy. I have Carrie Ann. I have Faith. Who else is here? When you pop on, say hello. If you could also share the video, that would be fantastic. We're gonna color up this dress. You're here, Faith, you're here. So we're gonna color up this dress in kind of a unique way. We're going to make this like a blue that fades into a green. So it's really lime style, and you see that it's a very different style than what Amy did. Obviously, neither is right, neither is wrong. We just use the same markers and color in very different ways. So I'm going to show you how I did this. We're going to talk about pleats and folds and that sort of thing. Thank you for sharing, Faith. I appreciate that. So, the markers I have that I'm using right now, the blues that we're going to start with are BG49, BG15, BG02. Then the greens that we go into are YG25, YG03, YG21, and YG00. Okay? So this is our blend that we're going to be using to color her dress today. And I apologize if I sound quieter than normal. I am so tired after this whole epic weekend. It's been so much fun, and wow, we're worn out, right? I think we're very worn out. Sonia's still here. We're still partying, epically partying. I'm cutting up a bunch of marker coloring stacks for you guys since everybody loves them and is wanting them, so we're gonna make sure we keep printing and cutting them up for you guys. So let's get started. I usually like to sort of warm up a little bit and color like the smaller portions. So we're gonna start by coloring the bodice of her dress, as it were. So I'm going to start with this BG49, which I don't know where I can put it that you can actually see it without me knocking it over. Maybe right there. Hopefully you can see that. So BG49 is actually a rather dark teal color. And I'm gonna start by, I'm gonna assume that my major light source is here. So I'm gonna start by coloring this where I think the shadows would go. So I will start down here by her belt, and I know that her arm will leave a shadow. And this material of her sleeve is definitely in front of the other material of the bodice of the dress. Then this is a fold in the fabric, and fabric generally folds over the top of itself. So I'm going to shadow here away from the sun. Also, these buttons here would leave a bit of a shadow. And then I generally like to shadow where the trim of her dress would leave a shadow upon itself. Okay. Then I'm gonna move on to my BG15, and I'm gonna blend this out some. Just going over the same lines, extending them slightly further into the white part, and smoothing out those transitions. And you'll see I do use a lot of short brush strokes. I do that because I think it makes it blend smoother and easier. It's personal preference. You can use long strokes. I just tend to use short, more painterly strokes, I suppose. Then I'm going into the BG02. This color is way more blue based than green based, like the others are more green based. But I think it lends itself into blending into the other set of colors that we're going to use on this. Okay, so you notice I've left considerable amount of open space. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this YG25, and I'm going to go back into the shadow, and I'm going to add some green shadow just on top. This is like my second layer. Don't mind the dogs coming in the dog door and the neighbor mowing his yard. We are full, all systems go on the move. And so I'm actually sitting at the bar in my kitchen coloring because my husband took the table, the dining room table out that we were sitting at, and placed it in the moving pod. So yeah, I don't have a table to color on. So you get to hear, and I'm also not in my craft room, so you get to hear the neighbor mowing his lawn and the dogs coming in and out of the dog door. Real life crafting, right? So you see how the blue just kind of richens? Wow, adds dimension to the green. It makes a nice rich color. And then as it fades into yellow, yellow creates this highlight. Now I like to take a second and show you how I do some tip-to-tip blending. So I have my YG03 and my YG21, and I take my YG21 and I just brush the tip of it across this YG03, and I use that in the transitions to ease that transition just a little bit. It makes those two colors so they blend more smoothly together.
Michelle says hi.
Michelle?
Michelle coming in?
Okay, hi Michelle. I didn't know if you said Michelle or Rochelle. Hi Michelle. So I take the tip and I just think of it like you're mixing paint a little bit. And see how it creates that transition. Makes it a little bit smoother. I like tip-to-tip blending. I used to not, but I think the more familiar I got with my markers, the more comfortable I got with tip-to-tip blending. And this was the YG00 that I just added a little bit in the highlight with. So there's the bodice of it completed. And I actually think I'm going to save the sleeves and the trim until later, and we're going to do it a little bit differently than what I did on this one. So this one I made the bodice and the sleeves and the dress all the same. But this time I think I'm going to make the bodice and the dress the same, and the sleeves and the trim are all going to be this blue color. So changing it up on you a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to go back to this BG49. What you want to do when you're coloring pleats in the dress, granted this is a large area to be coloring, so you do have to work kind of quickly, Although I think after trying to color along with Amy last night, she works way quicker than I do. So I think that what you really need to focus on when you're coloring pleats like this is thinking about how the material moves.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
Faith wants to know, when I try to do that, my lighter colored tip has a dark spot on it. Can that be fixed?
That's what you're coloring onto the paper. So your lighter color tip will have a dark spot on it. That's the color that you're picking up off of the darker marker. And you color that onto the paper, and this ink will push that darker ink out. Hopefully that makes sense. Is that a good way of describing it? So into the dress, and you'll see it a little more, Faith, too, when I do this part. I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. So anyways, think about where the material folds over upon itself and where the sun is shining, what direction it's coming from. So the pleats in the dress used to be a little bit intimidating to me. And then I figured out that they're really not once you break it down. So I'm going to break this down a little bit, and I'm going to say if my sun is coming from this direction, I know first and foremost that around the belt here, this is going to have a cast shadow.
She said the dark spot didn't come off.
Huh. That's very odd. You can clean your nib and the dark spot will come off. Does it affect your coloring?
I am lagging a lot, so I haven't seen a reply yet.
Aha. So I have this BG49 and I'm just adding shadows. Now these artist drawn lines are going to show you where the artist intends the shadows to be and add movement to the dress. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use those as my guide. Okay, so as of right now, I'm just coloring in these artist drawn lines. Now if you'll notice, this part of the dress, it looks like this part is actually behind this part. So I'm going to color this side of this line because there will be a shadow here. And I know that seems counterintuitive to what I was just telling you, but if the sun is shining here, this is going to leave a shadow on that, but this part will be highlight. So just go with me on it, okay? Then I'm going to flip this around. I know it's going to be upside down for you guys, but we all rotate our paper a lot.
She said, how do I clean them, and how would I know if it affects it yet, sweetie? I only touched them that once, LOL.
All right, well, color with it and see if the color leaches into your other colors when you're trying to color with it. It shouldn't, but I've never had tip to tip stain a marker. Now the reason I'm going on this side of the line is because this material is bubbled up and this is sunken in. Then this part, when you look at it, you got to look at like, so her legs, so this part is sunken in and this part is bubbled up, but then this is leaving a shadow on that part. So you really have to dissect the dress. And if you don't do it exactly the same as me, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's going to see it a little bit different. So I do tend to add more lines for more movement. If you're not ready for that, you certainly don't have to do that. But I like to add more. Hopefully I'm still in the frame. Okay, and again, I feel like this part of the dress is on top of this part, so this is actually going to be shadow for me. And if you see it differently, that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just have to choose your method and stick with it. Okay. And then I also feel like this part's gonna leave a shadow. Okay, so there's my shadows laid in. The first layer anyways. So with my first layer of shadows in, I'm going to grab my BG15 and I'm going to go over these just like I did with the bodice of the dress. I'm going to start again at the top and I'm going to extend those shadows. The only difference this time is I can actually leave it this direction because now that I know where my shadows are and I've sorted them out in my head, I know which way I can go. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second.
Amy popped in.
Amy!
She said, just popping in real quick before a grooming dog arrives. Looking bad.
Amy, can you talk to Faith for a second about a stained nib? She's talking about tip-to-tip blending, and the lighter tip is retaining the color of the darker tip. And I've never had that happen. Have you? So then I come in from the bottom because, like I said, now that I've mapped out where my shadows are, I can come in and shade these in the direction that I want to without having to really turn it. I actually like to shade these towards me.
Nobody's saying anything.
Okay. I was gonna say, it got awfully quiet.
Well, people are probably coloring along with you too.
Yeah. Is anybody, Carrie, are you coloring along?
Faye said she was making thank you cards or something. I can't read it anymore because I went out of the video and came back in.
Oh, okay. The biggest part of the dress to me, I think, is to make sure that when you're shading, you're really looking at the lines of the dress and which direction it's going to flow to add movement to it. Because if you just color it, you know, light to dark, dark to light kind of thing, it's going to end up looking quite flat. So you're trying to add movement and direction and flowiness to the dress. I've gone into BG02 is the next marker I have.
Carrie Ann says, yes, I am. Very intense. And then Amy answered Faith's question. And
Okay.
he says, hi, Jamie.
Oh, that's my mom.
Oh, hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom. Is Evan still happy over there? I texted him and asked him if he wanted to come home, and he said later. So I'm just going over, again, those greens to add, just lengthening them. And then I'll show you, once we add the neons, the neon greens, what happens. It's actually quite neat to watch it develop. All right.
Oh, she said, yes, he's fine. Said he was going home in a little while.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, Pooch.
Archie has found a new friend. He realized that Sonia likes cats, and so he's being quite cat-like. So you guys see that I'm literally just going back over my lines and blending them out.
I don't need kisses, don't need kisses.
And I'm just blending them out further and further to take up more of the white space. So then, as I go into my greens, I just picked up YG25, and I'm going to kind of retrace my shadows, where I put in my shadows.
Faith says, truthfully, I'm still really scared of them.
That's okay, Faith. I think we all are when we first start. I was quite intimidated.
So was I, very much so.
Yeah, and you see all these wonderful, amazing pieces that people put out there of their Copic coloring, and I'm like, wow, I could never live up to that. But that's where we come in and say, you know, it's not a competition. Everybody's in a different spot on their learning journey. So if you make it a competition, it's going to always be hard for you, and you're always going to be intimidated and scared. If you decide that you're just going to pick up your markers and start coloring, then you're going to find that you will get joy out of it because you'll be able to see yourself improve. And
Amy says she remembers being intimidated by them first at 2, but it's really hard to mess them up. Trust me, you just have to start playing.
right. See, I agree. Just start playing with them. And you hear me all the time, Faith, say that it's familiarity with your medium. And in all honesty, if you just pick up your markers and start playing with them, you're going to get more familiar with them, and you're going to figure out how they work and what to do with them and how they react with one another. And it's going to become way easier for you to... You're going to feel less intimidated because you're going to know, you know, how they react and what does what when it's mixed with what, and it's just less intimidating that way. Okay, so you see I just went into the darkest parts, over that BG49 and a little bit over the BG15 as well with that green. Now I'm going to pick up my YG03, and I'm going to go over that lighter blue color and extend a little into the white.
Amy said, gotta run, should check back the replay.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Have a good day. Now, within my color blend, this green is actually what the true color of the dress is. So I'm going to go in and start actually filling in this white part a bit of where the dress would fold away from the sun. So it'll go like that. So both of the sides are going to be slightly in shadow, but also they're starting to come out of shadow. So since this is the true color of the dress, ooh, I squeaked, the true color of the dress, I'm going to extend that out a little bit further. Oh, you are quite behind on that.
Yeah.
And you see, just like Amy was telling you guys about the background, it is all about layering this up. You're just adding layers and layers and layers to achieve the look that you want to.
So pretty.
It's pretty. Now I'm in YG21. And again, we're just gonna go in and blend. I don't do a lot of tip-to-tip blending in this section because I am trying to play with the sunlight on this. So I want it to almost be that stark difference. but I'm going to try to blend it some up into the darker greens to pick up a little bit of that color to bring it down. And I almost want to wash it out and oversaturate it a little bit because that's how I'm getting that texture for the material. I don't know if you can see right there how it starts to get a little oversaturated. That's the technique I'm using to texture this material. There's all kinds of techniques that you can use to add different textures, but in this specific dress, I wanted it to be that kind of material. And when it dries, it doesn't do, it kind of backs off of itself, but you can still see a little bit of that stippling type look there. I think it just adds neat movement and texture to what's going on. Now I have the YG00, and I'm going to go into these highlights again and just add that bright color. My husband just cannot sit still. He is fit to be tied on this whole move thing. I think he's just so anxious to move in with my parents. All right. So there's the bottom of the dress. Now, generally this part of the dress tends to be more in shadow because it's the underside, it's the inside. So I'm gonna go back to my BG49. And I'm actually just going to do a circle pretty much all the way around it. Not super thick, but thick enough.
Gizmo?
Just like that. Gizmo's upset that Barry went outside. Because it's almost his dinner time. So he's like, where's Dad going? He needs to feed me first. Now, BG02. Now you see, as I said, this is darker. I've completely filled that in, but I'm still gonna go over it with the green because I want it to blend with the color of the dress. I just want it to look like it's the underside of it and darker. And this is YG21. Ooh, I have a bit of pooling on the pooler paper. Ha ha. Ha ha. All right, so there is her dress. We're gonna continue to color. We're gonna color this part up here. Okay. Nobody's commenting. Everybody's all quiet.
Everybody's so quiet.
It's kind of eerie when you color and everybody's all quiet, because then you wonder like if your video shut off or what's going on, but I still have the little live thing up there.
Oh, Michelle Cunningham says, looking fab.
Oh, thanks, Michelle, for letting me know that there's somebody out there with a pulse. I need a pulse. I need somebody with a pulse, please.
Speak to me, please.
Speak to me. All right, so the top part of the dress, I'm gonna color with just the BG colors.
Faith says, so beautimous, and Carrie Ann says, hola.
Hola. ¿Cómo te va? All right, so we're gonna go BG49, and I'm gonna go again where the shadows are, or where I think the shadows are, right? Those are two entirely different things. Where the shadows are supposed to be and where I think they are. And I'm gonna do her sleeve. Green sleeves. All right.
Oh, Paula
says, hey Jamie.
Hey, Paula.
And Mickey says, I'm trying to figure out how those tiny little feet are holding her up.
Right? She has like size 0 feet. They are tiny.
They really are tiny.
All right. And just shading this, just elongating it. You know, the color where I was at. I was like, you know. The color. And BGO2. This is going to actually add quite a bit of highlight to it. Now, when I color this part, since it tends to come out slightly darker, I'm actually going to take my B quadruple and add a little bit of highlight in here. And you'll see it just adds a tiny bit of texture.
Paula says, I love watching you color.
Aw, thanks, Paula. So it adds a little bit of highlight into that sleeve there where the sun would hit it. Then where the I was totally thinking that too.
Of course you are. We share a ring.
All right, so BG49, then I'm gonna go onto this sleeve. And actually, since this sleeve is so tiny, I'm probably gonna do other pieces of the trim work as well. So that cleavage would leave a shadow, because it sinks down there, right? How indecent. And then on her belt here. Okay. Into BG15. Same thing, just softening up the outer edge of where that shadow marker is, that shadow color is.
Can't actually see what you're doing, but...
I know, I'm sure you can't.
Oh, that's better.
It's so hard to color on camera because I'm like a paper hugger. I like to really be close to my paper and really get in there. And I just realized that I'm squinting, so I'm coloring without my glasses, which I'll probably pay for later. All right, now I'm going to go with my boo. Boo, and add a little bit of highlight into the lightest parts here. And you notice I've already colored in these parts, but I'm actually using this marker to sort of push the color around and remove some of it kind of from where the highlight area is. Okay, so now we need to color her hair bow, and of course this girl is definitely matchy-matchy, so her hair bow is for sure gonna match the trim on her dress. And I think her shoes are also going to match. That's what I did in the other one as well. So I'm gonna go in with this BG49 and...
Faith says, I can't see anything without my glasses. And then she said, I actually bought my stacks, finally. I can't wait to get them.
Yay! So where this would come out of her hair would leave a shadow upon itself. And the little center here. And then that crease in the bow.
Sounds like Star Trek.
Yep. Okay. BG15. Uh-oh, somebody's getting into the washi tape.
I might have to pick some washi tape to, do my work on some
This is the epic retreat for the epic planner, so we should probably actually do some planner layouts.
We should maybe do something epic.
We should do something with our epic planner.
Yes.
We've been coloring and stuff all weekend, so it's been super fun, but I think we got like off on a tangent just coloring.
You think?
Yeah, well, I know, but I was trying to be a little
Diplomatic.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
We got off on a tangent just coloring, and yeah, forgot that we were supposed to do some stuff. And then we would look up at the clock and realize that it was way too late to do what we were supposed to be doing. And I'm just saying, next time we have one of these, y'all better come, because it's, wow, we had so much fun.
We did.
And we're still having fun. Although I just realized I didn't set anything out for dinner, so we're going to have to be creative on our dinner. See, I shirk all responsibility when this starts to happen. It's amazing. Oh, you pulled out the cow print. Go figure.
Are you surprised?
No, not really. So we're going to color her teeny tiny little shoes.
Oops.
Teeny tiny little shoes. You can,
Oh, these are cute.
you can feel free to take those.
To take them.
Yes. All right. So her teeny tiny little shoes. Yeah, for keepsies.
Cool.
Maybe leave me like 4 or 5 of them. We're talking about stickers. Don't mind us.
Stickers, snatch, washi tape.
Yeah. Just leave me a couple of them and take the rest of the roll. Yeah. I don't really use them all that often. All right. So her teeny tiny little shoes. I'm with my mom. I don't know how these little shoes would hold her up.
Mickey says, watching you color is very relaxing.
Oh, really, Mom?
And Paula says, I totally agree.
Aw, my mommy thinks I'm relaxing. That makes me feel so good.
I feel good.
I knew that I should now. We have been singing all weekend. Like, I'm sure the neighbors have a headache because we just... Every time somebody says something, we spontaneously bust into song.
Generally the same song at the same time, in the same key, but, you
With
know.
the same verse and the same...
Yes.
Yeah.
We share a brain.
Hey, Mom,
and
did
Michelle says she agrees, too.
Aw, Mom, did you have a child that I didn't know about? Because I think her name is Sonia.
That was such a weird laugh. I'm like, aw, you just got a heart.
Aw. In such a small space, it is really hard to add dimension and detail and stuff, but I think...
What, you mean you're not doing 14 different colors on the shoes?
I did 4
I'm
colors.
disappointed.
I did 4 colors in there.
I'm disappointed. What
I
can
know,
I say?
right? It's a thing. Okay. I'm like, it's a thing. It's totally a thing. Now, I think she's drinking red wine. I feel like she's a red wine kind of girl, especially since these are probably burgers and red wine goes with beef. We're going to color her wine. So, I'm going to go in... Ooh, my tip on this is disgusting.
Faith says it won't matter with the neighbors since you're moving. LOL.
Oh, yes. Let's be as annoying as possible. I didn't think about that. We need to up our game.
Oh, Beth. Beth says hello from Marshall, Minnesota.
Well,
I
hi,
need to
Beth.
color better. Hi,
Oh.
Beth.
Hello, Beth.
There's 2 of us over here. Don't mind the 2 voices coming from nowhere. Ha ha ha.
Right? Ha, we're both here. Not to freak you out or anything.
This random voice comes out over the intercom.
Over the intercom.
That is not what I meant.
Step away, Sonia.
Step away
Step
from the
away.
camera.
This is like really red wine. This is like a table blend.
I didn't know you could blend tables.
Ha, ha, ha. You can't blend tables, she says. She's quite the comedian, is she not?
Yep.
All right, so very bright red wine. And I'm going to take this B quadruple 0 and I'm going to just give the glass a little bit of a blue hue. I don't know why, but I just seem to like when artists do this, so I started copying it on the glassware, because otherwise it seems unfinished to me. Like you forgot to color the glass. For some reason, I don't know why. Right, it has more to do with my OCD than anything, so if that's what makes you sleep at night, that's what makes you sleep at night. Now, I also think I want to grab my multi-liners. Give me just 1 second. And I'm going to add...
Oh, your mom says match. I'm not sure. Oh, to match her... Margarita, to match her dress.
Oh.
And then Beth says, hello, it's a great day for grilling and stamping, but when isn't it a good day to stamp?
Right?
Yes, so true.
I'm adding little polka dots to her sleeves.
How cute! That's
think
adorable.
Amy did this.
That is super adorable.
I'm totally copying her because I think it's really cute.
Faith wants to know, are you sure she isn't drinking rum? Tee-hee-hee.
Oh, she could be drinking rum. Red rum. Ha ha ha. That took a really dark turn. So I just want to put these side by side to show you guys. Let me see if I can zoom out.
Or just turn them the other way.
But this is vertical for them.
Oh, right.
That's the proper, yeah.
I knew that.
So I just want to show you guys that even though let me move this up so it's out of the comments for you mobile watchers. Even though I colored her using the same markers twice, you see how different it looks? And that's just me coloring her twice using the same markers. And I think it looks very different. Actually, in person, it looks really different because this is considerably brighter. Yellow. It's very yellow compared to this one. Mm-hmm. But you color her the same markers, you know, numerous different times, and you're always going to get a different result. And so that was part of the point of why Amy and I were coloring. Are you sure? Love the polka dots. It really added some depth. Oh, thanks. That's why Amy and I wanted to do this, was to show you guys that you can use the same markers, and at the hands of a different artist, it's going to look very, very different. But also, if you use the same markers, even at the hand of yourself, it's going to look very different. So you can't hope to duplicate anybody's art. You can always take tips and pointers and tricks from all of us, but you're gonna end up with your own style, regardless of, especially if you're missing any colors. So you're always gonna end up, can you find my one from last night, Sonia? I think it's on the cart over there. Yep. The red dress one. You're always gonna end up with a slightly different result, no matter how many times you color this. And even if you try to copy somebody else or anything like that, thanks, Cindy. Even if you try to copy somebody else or anything like that, you're always going to end up with a slightly different result. And that's okay. That's kind of the fun of coloring. So last night I colored along with Amy, and I did the same background that Amy did. And you can see, like, right along with her video, hey Dana, right along with her video, you know, my end result was quite different than hers. And, you know, I did exactly as I saw her do on the video. So even though this girl's in a red dress. So I just, details. But it's just really fun to see how things develop and how you can make very different pictures out of the same, let me zoom out even more so you can see this, out of the same image. And I think it's fun that you can change, you know, her character changes so much just by changing her dress and hair color. You know, just the whole feel of the scenario changes considerably when you do that.
Faith loves the red dress and Cindy loves the blonde.
It's fun. It's fun to do
Dana
different.
Says hi.
Hi. It's fun to do different colors and stuff. And I really want to color her with like dip dyed hair. I think having her have a bright pink or a purple hair would be really fun, especially if she was wearing like a black dress. Ooh. I think would be really cute.
That would be a
so you'll definitely see her many more times. You'll see me color her many more times over the course of this summer, I think. But I want to get through the coloring stack. My goal is to color each one of the girls from the coloring stack. So I have a couple of others that I have colored, but I have not colored them all. Hold on a second.
Michelle says, I love them all. Paula says, super cute. Love them both. Faith says, awesome.
Yay!
And Jamie disappeared. Don't mind her.
Don't mind me. I just walked away to get my other ones. I probably sound really far away.
That's because you were really far away.
Right. So here's another one that I colored.
Oh, you did that one?
I did that one, yes.
Wow. I thought that one was one of the ones from, what's her face?
Amy.
Amy, yes.
What's her face? So I did her. I did this one. Fun. She has purple hair. I guess I could hold this one closer to the camera so you guys could see it.
Oh, you got some loves on your...
Oh, I got some love. I did this one. I'm not done with the background yet. I'm getting ready to color the background.
Super cute. Faith says she loves the background. Paula says gorgeous.
And this girl.
Ah, the bubble bath girl.
This reminds me of the Mr. Bubbles. Mom, do you remember the Mr. Bubbles that you used to get us when we went up to Lake Pillsbury?
The bubble nose.
Yes.
Mr. Bubbles.
Mr. Bubbles. So it was like powdered bubble bath. And it was bright pink. And my mom used to buy us Mr. Bubbles for Lena and I when we would go camping at our cabin. So it wasn't really camping because we had hot water, but whatever. And so we would take bubble baths with Mr. Bubbles. So it totally reminded me of that. And then Mom, when I showed this to Lena, she was like, that looks like Mr. Bubbles. Made me laugh. I started coloring this one. So she's going to be Elphaba-ish with her bright green skin.
Faith thought the same thing about those bubbles.
Yeah. And then she's a cute little redhead, and she's going to be painting her nails.
I agree with Michelle Cunningham. All the dresses are great. Dana said that.
And then this is in a frame, so I'm trying not to get the reflection of it.
That's good.
Yeah. I put her in a little yoga studio. My yoga studio was not as in-depth as Amy's yoga studio, but in my defense, this was the first background I'd ever tried.
What?
So
does it look like the first background you ever tried?
This is the first background I've ever tried.
She lies.
I like her teal hair.
Yes. Very cute.
Super fun. So anyways,
oh, lots more hearts.
Aw, thanks guys for the love. So this sort of concludes our epic weekend for the time being. And
we might need to jump on and do something quick with the actual journals.
Yeah, we might do a little bit of planning stuff later, but just wanted to show you guys, finishing off that dress. And I don't want to fully commit to any other live videos this weekend, just in case we totally get too tired and pass out from lack of sleep.
Margarita's on.
Hi, Margarita. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. If we come on later, we will do some planner layout stuff, or at least we'll just show you the planner layouts that we're doing. But I have to go back to cutting marker stacks because you guys have been ordering marker stacks like crazy, which is fantastic. I cannot wait to see everything you guys color. So we're excited, but I have to go cut marker stacks so we can get them in the mail to you tomorrow. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining us for the Epic Retreat. We've had a ton of fun, and we will get back to you on all of the prizes and stuff once things slow down a little.
Faith says, thanks for an amazing weekend. And Margarita says, ahoy, I missed everything.
Yay, Margarita! How potato of you.
And Michelle says, bye.
Toodles, Michelle. So once we pick winners on all of that stuff, we will get back to you on a post. So look for that probably Monday or Tuesday on any of the winners that haven't been already announced. And thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Oh, Michelle has a game coming up.
Yes, Michelle does have a game coming up. And wait till you guys see this game. It's going to be so much fun. It's super excited. Epic. I'm super excited for it, but it's like an ongoing game. It's something that's going to last for quite a while, and I'm really excited about it, and I think a lot of us will get to join in. So I cannot wait. So thanks, Michelle, for that wonderful idea. I can't wait for you to post it. And yeah, so we're going to sign off, and we will see you all later. Toodles.